ramen. You know it, you love it. It's everybody's favorite Japanese food and the first dish you want to slurp down when you arrive at Narita Airport. The balance between that salty umami soup, bouncy noodles, that slow-cooked chashu pork topping. You can't go wrong with ramen. Or can you? I'm going to introduce you to the best noodle dish in Japan that you've never heard of. Tsukemen. Now, ramen has a rich history dating back thousands of years to China. The name even comes from the Chinese la mian, so it's obviously a reasonable choice for lunch, as it's been fueling the East Asian working class for the better part of a millennium. But we all know that the Japanese make everything better, and in recent years it's gotten a lot better. If this was Pokemon, Tsukemen would be the evolved form of ramen, the final form of ramen. Think Pichu and Raichu. It's better in every single way. Now let me explain why. Tsukemen roughly translates to dipping noodles. The noodles are served separately and you dip and slurp as you go. Now this may not seem like a major difference, but it's already a massive improvement on the ancient Chinese classic. When noodles sit in broth, they go soggy. Because of this, ramen chefs recommend eating all of your noodles within 5 minutes of serving. Ramen isn't really a sit down, talk to your friends, chill out kind of food. You're supposed to get in, suck it down, and get out. Now that's all well and good, I like fast food, but ramen is also served piping hot. That's the problem. This is why the Japanese have developed their signature sucking style, slurping the noodles into the mouth along with a whirlwind of air, the air cooling the food as it enters your mouth. Sounds great in theory, but in reality, no matter how much you suck on those noodles, they're still really hot. So the entire time you're eating, you're going and it isn't the most pleasant dining experience. It just isn't. And once again, if you wait for the noodles to cool down, well, they've just become a soggy, mushy mess. You might as well just stay home and eat porridge at that point. Okay, what are you doing in a noodle shop? Alright, Tsukemen's noodles are served separately to prevent sog, but they're also served cold. So the combination of the noodles and the hot broth result in the perfect warm temperature that you can enjoy right away. Next, the broth. Ramen broth is good, but it's usually pretty thin. Now there are some regional exceptions, but the point of the noodles is to transport the broth into your mouth. They are a vehicle to deliver the flavor of the soup to your taste buds. But with a thin soup, they don't necessarily do a very good job. Tsukemen, on the other hand, is served with a thick, concentrated broth that clings to the noodles, so you get a creamy, delicious coating with every bite. And if you think the soup is a little too strong to drink at the end, no problem. They can thin it out with hot water after you finish your noodles, or you can get some rice, put it in, let it soak up the broth, and have the best bowl of rice of your life for dessert. Next, the noodles. Ramen noodles are thin. Udon noodles, for example, are too thick. But Tsukemen is the perfect middle ground. They're not too thin, not too thick, just the right thickness to give you that chewy bounce. So when you put that all together, what do you get? A dish that you can enjoy right away without needing to continuously suck air into your mouth to cool it down, that has more flavor in every bite and thicker, chewier noodles that you can enjoy for longer. You can also sit around and talk with your friends like a normal dining experience because you don't have to worry about noodle sog. So do yourself a favor, next time you're in Japan, or maybe you're in New York City and they have this, get some Tsukemen. A bit of warning though, you want to go to a specialized Tsukemen shop. A lot of regular old ramen shops have tried jumping on the bandwagon, jumping on the trend, and offering quote-unquote Tsukemen, but it's just their regular ramen served separately. That's not Tsukemen. Do not eat that. Tsukemen is its own thing and should be treated as such. You can't just take your ramen noodles, serve them on the side, and call that a different dish. That's not how this works. So don't get gypped, don't get fooled. If you try something like that, if you ordered Tsukemen and the soup feels a little too thin, not so flavorful, and the noodles are too thin, if everything's just not that powerful, not that flavorful, then you gotta try again. Find a better shop, find a Tsukemen specialty shop, and have the best noodles that you will ever eat in your life, that is Tsukemen. I guarantee it. Ramen is a thing of the past. Leave that in ancient China and move forward with the Japanese, the new innovations, the new technologies. This is the greatest thing to ever happen to noodles in the past 500 years. I'm telling you, you gotta check it out. If you came to Japan, you didn't have Tsukemen, you missed out. Okay? Alright? See you next time. Peace. One last thing I almost forgot to mention. In Japanese culture, if you bring your head down to your bowl to eat, then you are eating like a dog, okay? You are not eating like a human. You are lowering yourself to the status of a mere beast. You are eating like a dog. You're not supposed to do that, and that is why, if you've ever eaten any kind of Japanese cooking, they give you food in these little plates. You're supposed to pick up the little plate and bring it towards your mouth. The Tsukemen soup is much more concentrated, so you get less of it, and it's in a smaller bowl. So you can actually dip the noodles into the bowl, bring the small soup bowl up to your mouth, and slurp it up, and stay upright. Maintain a dignified posture when you're eating so you don't eat like a mutt, okay? So that is also very important. Very important, because if you've ever seen people eating ramen, they do not look good. They look like beasts, okay? But we are not beasts. We are men, all right? You better start acting like it. And Tsukemen is a great first step. Great first step. Microphone memory card is full, so the audio is probably terrible in the last bit. That's fine. We're gonna put that at the end. Put that at the end. There'll be no problem.